Cubs have gone streaking. 5 straight wins. How are they doing it? We're going to get into that. Matthew Boyd could be the find of the year. I know it's only a couple of starts, but another brilliant outing for a guy that grew up with a family of Cubs fans. And then Ian Happ played his 1,000th game. How about that, Happer, man? It's hard to believe that he's been the Cubs' longest tenured player now. But Jed Hoyer talking about the team being built around Kyle Tucker. We're going to get into all that as the Cubs look for a sweep over the Padres, who had previously been undefeated. That was until they walked into the unfriendly confines. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. Let's go, baby. We got some wins going here. Fly the dub. Thanks, everybody. Mick Gillespie, Cubs baseball channel. Great to see you guys today. There it is, at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. I know some of you guys talked to me there. Get in the comment section here, though. Let's talk about the Cubs and another win over the Padres. And what a great game it was for the Cubs. So they take the series, and it was Matthew Boyd in his second start with the Cubs, proving that, look, man, I'm good. Like, Cubs made a great pickup with me. 6 innings, no earned runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, gave up 5 hits. This is back-to-back outings where Boyd has looked really good. This is a guy that's kind of been around the block a little bit, been with the Blue Jays, the Mariners, and the Tigers, and the Guardians. But maybe this is the right fit for him. He talked about in the post-game show that his grandfather was a big Cubs fan, and what is talking about the Cubs after the game and what the Cubs were doing. Maybe it was his dad. He was just saying, "Hey, look, we talk Cubs baseball. Now I'm here," and it was just a fantastic game for him. He really set the tone for the Cubs. The offense took care of the rest. They got some runs early. And then how about Carson Kelly? Like, you might have to put this guy in. Another home run, another big home run. He's already hit for the cycle this year. Like, he's playing in spots, but he was also awesome behind the plate, really matched well with Boyd. And it's just a really great start for the Cubs, who are now in first place, 7-4 on the year. And you take those 2 losses away in Japan, and all of a sudden, I mean, in the USA, and I count, but, look, man, 7-2 start when the season, and you blew the 1 game in Arizona. I like what I'm seeing right now from the Cubs, kind of the momentum that they're picking up and what this team is capable of doing because of the fact that they have pitching. The starting pitching's been excellent. I mean, really has. Like, Imanaga was awesome opening day. Boyd, Tyone's last outing, he's working through the torpedo bats with his change-up pitch that he's got. What Justin Steele's capable of doing. Ben Brown's that spot, that fifth starter in this rotation. I don't think that it's a solid 5th spot for him. I think he's there right now. Javier Assad could be coming back sometime soon, and I know you guys pointed that out in the comments section. I still think that that Wicks is a guy that you could put in there. I don't know about Colin Ray. And then the ace of this whole thing is that eventually Horton's going to force his way into this rotation, and it's going to get that much deeper. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but I really believe in this kid. I think that he has the potential to be a Pryor Wood type of guy. I'm telling you that now. I mean, remember me talking about Pete Crow Armstrong when he wasn't doing well before he even got to the big leagues. I said, this guy's got that type of ability. So Cade Horton, who we mentioned on the show yesterday, is another guy that could be in that 5th or 6th or 7th starter spot. And the way that the Cubs, if they let these guys pitch deep in the games, they might go 6 or 7 certain long stretches without days off. I could see that happening. But I was really impressed by Boyd. It was great to see him wheel and deal, take care of business, and the Cubs beat the Padres. Let's talk a little bit of Ian Happ. He's the tenured guy now, which it's hard to believe that. I mean, to think that that Kyle Hendricks is on a different team, and not one guy from the World Series is on the team right now, and that Ian Happ is the longest tenured guy, but he is. He's one of the most successful Cubs when it comes to playing defense. He's been really solid. I'll tell you, they paid him big money to be there. He's batting .214 this season, but he's got an on-base percentage of .320. That's because he walks a lot. 7 walks this year, and I think that's really his weapon. And they've used him in that leadoff role because of that. He's a switch hitter. He's gonna, basically take advantage of pitching and try to get on base, and he's doing a decent job of that. He definitely represents the organization the right way, and that's the biggest compliment that I can give him personally, is that I just like him as a person. I like what he does off the field. On the field, he's a good player. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's great. I think he's good. But off the field, I think he's awesome, right? Raising money for charity for the Cubs. He's got his podcast that he does. Every Cubs convention, he's out there doing stuff. He's involved. He cares. He's embraced being a Cubs player. And so him being kind of the guy on this team doesn't bother me at all. And I also like the way he shows up every day. I think the guy plays the game the right way. He plays hard. And so if you're going to have that guy that everyone kind of gravitates towards and wants to, looks and says, hey, this is the guy that's been here for a while, he's definitely the guy that I feel comfortable with in that spot. So congratulations to him. 1,000 games played. And that makes me feel old, because I remember when the Cubs drafted him. I remember seeing him go up through the system. The crazy thing, and you guys might not know this, is when the Cubs were making the trade that basically broke the streak, right, with the Yankees, they made the trade to get Aroldis Chapman. And Jim Hendry, who was the former GM of the Cubs, came to Tennessee. And I was there. I really like Jim. A ton of respect for him. To me personally, I'd love to see him get another shot at the GM role. But he's a see what you get guy. He's got a great sense of humor. And just personally, I like him. And he was working with the Yankees. He still is. He was working with the Yankees, comes into town, and it's, Eloy Jimenez, it's Happer, and it's Gleyber Torres. And he's trying to figure out, like, of these guys, who the Yankees want as the guy that they're going to get for Aroldis Chapman. And he's watching Happ. And at the time, Happ was playing second base, and he just didn't have good instincts playing second base. He just didn't. He's much better in the outfield. It's not that he couldn't play second base. It's just the instincts weren't there. It wasn't a very smooth position for him. He'd take some plays off. And I don't think that he was not trying. I just think that it's just his instincts weren't good. He's a Gold Glover now, 3-year Gold Glover, in the outfield. And I think his instincts are just better at that position than they were at second base, but he could do it. And Jim was there. And I'm wondering, like, is this a guy that the Yankees are going to take in this trade, right? And then it comes down to it. They end up with Gleyber Torres, and the rest is history. Cubs win the World Series. That's how those deals work. A lot of times when you're making, like, these blockbuster trades, you have the choice of, hey, this guy, or this guy. So he easily could have been a Yankee. And I wonder if they look back on that now. I mean, Gleyber Torres had some good years, but over the long term, I mean, Happer's been pretty damn consistent. Right? Jimenez is good. They ended up trading him anyway to the White Sox in a deal that I think was a bad trade for the Cubs. And I thought it at the time, and I still think it to this day. I would rather have Dylan Cease and Eloy Jimenez and never have had Jose Quintana. It just didn't work for me. And then Torres had some really good years with the Yankees, and I know he's not the player that we thought he was going to be long term. And then Happ's is kind of rolling along. Of the three, I think he's been kind of the most consistent guy. You put the Gold Gloves in there, and the fact that he's an everyday player, he shows up every day, turned out pretty good for the Cubs. Turned out great for the Cubs. I mean, they won the World Series. Turned out pretty good for the Yankees as well. And and obviously the White Sox got the better of that Quintana trade when you're trying to get Dylan Cease back because you won an ace. You had him, you gave him up, right? And it just didn't feel like, and this is biggest criticism that I had for the Theo Epstein years, is that it just didn't feel like there was a good long-term plan after 2016. It was like, well, I'm going to try to win it now. I'm going to try to win it now. And then you trade guys like that away, and you're giving up an ace to another team, and you're not winning a World Series. I mean, you got to deliver. But that, hey, we won one in 2016. How many of you guys were like, hey, just one before I die? So they did get one before they died. Anyway, that's kind of where I wanted to sit on Ian Happ. Congratulations to him, and kind of digressed a little bit. Guys, thank you for being here, though. And again, we appreciate DraftKings for being part of what we do on the channel. I'll be wearing my winter layers, but the start of baseball season means spring is upon us. I've teamed up with DraftKings to bring the excitement to my fellow fans of one of America's most beloved games. Right now, they are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using our code CBC. Cubs Baseball Channel, CBC. The crown is yours. Stay in on all the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at even bigger payouts. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use our promo code CBC and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Well, the Cubs are off to a pretty good start. They're first in the Central. I like the way that the offense is getting things done. Another game where they scored multiple runs. They ended up with some long balls, but they're walking a lot. And I said yesterday, and I'm going to believe this until I quit watching baseball, walks are not as good as hits, but they're pretty damn good, right? So the Cubs ended up with more than 7 walks for back-to-back games. They're not as good as hits, but I'll take them, right? I'll take them. A lot of walks, but they got a lot of hits in this game too, and they took care of business, and I love that. But Jed Hoyer was talking about what an impact Kyle Tucker makes, and he said he's the kind of player you want to build a lineup around. I totally agree with that. They gave up a king share to get this guy, and I've talked about it. Look, I don't know that anyone else has broken this trade down better than I have. And I'm not saying that there's not a lot of other great analysts out there, but I've broken the thing down over and over and over again because they gave an army away. I mean, they had. But he makes a difference, and he's got to make a difference. That's the thing that I look at. I'm not here to try to make the trade look bad. I don't want to look back and be like, well, I was pulling against them for the trade. That's not how I feel. I want the trade to work. But what I'm saying is that the pressure is high on Tucker, because not only is he playing for a contract for next year, but he's also playing to save this front office, because they have thrown it all on the line for him with the players that they traded for him, the players that they traded to get the players that they traded, and then the Bellinger sell-off, but he's been the guy. He really has. He has made a difference in the lineup every single day. It doesn't matter what his batting average is, how many home runs he's hit. You have to worry about him throughout the lineup. And I remember Andre Dawson being that guy in the Cubs lineup. As much as I love Rhino, and I thought Rhino was always a great player, I've always felt like Hawk was the guy in the lineup when you're like, hey, what do we got to worry about him? I mean, Sammy, same way. I mean, to just a totally different level. I mean, Sammy's going to belt a home run off of you if you get into that spot. Mark Grace was one of those guys, not for power, but just for his ability to hit. And then obviously, when the Cubs won the World Series, they had a bunch of those guys. They had a whole lineup of them, right? I mean, you had to worry about Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez, and then, whoever else. I mean, but this guy in the Cubs lineup today is a difference maker. He's got to keep it. We're not talking about 162 games right now. I mean, we're talking about just 10 games, but I like the way that he's coming to the game, 11 games. I like the way that he shows up every day. I like the fact that the Cubs, when he's out there, have a team that when that lineup rolls around, you're worried about where he's at. You're thinking about it. Like, hey, what are we doing right now? Where's this guy sitting? What do we have to worry about? So that's what it's all about. So 7-1 win over the Padres, and that sets us up to get the brooms out. The Cubs can get the job done, and it's going to be a matchup where we see Ben Brown on the mound, second, a 1-1 record and a 5.87 ERA. You remember he pitched in Japan, and then got the start. He won that 5th starter job, and he's going to be matched up against Kyle Hart, a 6'5", 200-pound right-hander who actually left-hander who's going to get the start and is 0-1 with or 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. So 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. I was looking at his 2020 stats. I don't even know why they would have him up there. Anyway, that's the matchup tomorrow as we wrap up this series. It's another day game. 1:20 at Wrigley Field. We'll be watching. We'll all be fired up. Look, let's get it done, man. I mean, look, this is who would have thought the Padres coming in 7-0 record. I mean, you know, they're going to come in there and stomp out the Cubs. No, we're ready for you guys. We're ready for you. And this is a tough schedule right now. Rangers coming in this week for some night games and then a Wednesday getaway day game. But the Cubs trying to protect home territory. I love it. Wrigley Field looked like everybody was having a blast yesterday. Let's do it again. Let's get the sweep. Love that idea. Hey, like, subscribe, thumbs up, get in the comments section. Go Cubs. Great to see everybody. I am fired up right now, okay? Give me 5 straight wins, and you're going to get the best out of me. But you give me 6 straight wins, and you're even going to get better. All right. Hey, we'll do it again tomorrow after the game. Great to see everyone, and let's get it done. Go Cubs.